she was one of the most influential voices in R&B.
Miss Aaliyah, how you doing,
baby?
girl?
It's so good to see you.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Aaliyah here, and now we're going to check out Corn.
She just wrapped a music video shoot in Paradise, and less than a minute after takeoff, everything changed.
The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah.
So what really went wrong? This is the story of Aaliyah's final hours and what led to her untimely passing. Aaliyah Dana Houghton was only 22 years old when she got on a small private plane in the Bahamas on August 25, 2001. By that time, she had already built the kind of career many people only dream of. Born in New York and raised in Detroit, she had been performing since she was a kid, starting at just 10 years old. By 14, she'd released her first album, and by 17, she was a major name in music. Songs like Back and Forth, One in a Million, and Try Again weren't just hits. They helped shape the sound of R&B and pop in the late 90s and early 2000s. And she wasn't just stopping there. In 2001, she had just released her third album and was starting to make her mark in Hollywood too, starring in Romeo Must Die and working on Queen of the Damned. That August, she flew to the Bahamas with a group of dancers, stylists, and crew members to film the music video for her song, Rock the Boat. They shot scenes on the beach and on a yacht near Abaco Island. It was a multi-day shoot, but everything wrapped up earlier than expected. Instead of sticking to their original plan to fly out the next day, the team decided to head back to the US that same evening. That one small, last-minute change in schedule would set off a chain of events, ending in tragedy and claiming 9 lives. The plane arranged to take Aaliyah and her team back to Miami was a small twin-engine Cessna 402B. It had just 10 seats and wasn't built to carry much weight. But with everyone eager to head home after wrapping the video shoot early, the crew loaded the aircraft with both passengers and a significant amount of equipment. Several people at the airport, including local taxi drivers and a custom officer, later said they noticed how much luggage and gear was being loaded and expressed concern. The pilot, Luis Morales, was 30 years old and had recently been hired by the charter company Black Hawk International Airways. Just weeks earlier, he had received probation for cocaine possession. Although he had a commercial pilot's license, he was not certified to fly the Cessna 402B. Before takeoff, there were early signs of concern. Some witnesses later said that Luis expressed hesitation about the plane's weight. He reportedly said the aircraft was overloaded and flying under those conditions wasn't safe. Despite that, the flight went ahead. At approximately 6:45 p.m., the aircraft departed from Marsh Harbor Airport. What happened next lasted less than a minute. According to witness reports, the plane briefly lifted into the air, but quickly tilted to the left and began losing altitude. Just 200 feet beyond the end of the runway, it crashed into the ground. The impact was severe. The wings tore off, the landing gear separated, and the fuselage collapsed into the surrounding marsh. The crash happened so quickly that no emergency calls could be made in time. All 9 people on board lost their lives as a result of the crash, including Aaliyah herself. Among the victims were hairstylists Eric Foreman and Anthony Dodd, makeup artist Christopher Maldonado, bodyguard Scott Gallen, background records manager Keith Wallace, background records product manager Gina Smith, Virgin Records video production director Douglas Kratz, and pilot Luis Morales III. The bodies were taken to the morgue at Princess Margaret Hospital in Nassau, where family members helped with identification. Aaliyah had suffered a severe head injury along with extensive burns. According to the Bahamian coroner who later testified at the inquest, her injuries were so serious that even if she had survived the crash itself, the trauma to her body was likely too much to recover from. She had gone into a state of extreme shock that made survival nearly impossible. After the crash, investigations were launched by both Bahamian authorities and the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. The findings painted a clear and troubling picture. According to investigators, the plane was carrying around 700 pounds more than its certified limit. On top of that, the weight wasn't properly distributed, pushing the aircraft's center of gravity beyond its safe range. A toxicology report after the crash showed the presence of both alcohol and cocaine in his system. Investigators also found that Luis had submitted false flight hour records in order to obtain his license. These findings led authorities to conclude that he was not properly qualified to operate the aircraft. The chaos surrounding the last-minute flight arrangements also became part of the investigation. The original return plan was set with a different charter company, but due to shifting schedules and a desire to leave earlier than planned, a smaller plane was brought in through Blackhawk International Airways. This change happened just hours before departure. With such a tight turnaround, there was very little time to review whether the aircraft or the pilot met safety standards. The oversight would prove to be fatal. In the aftermath, Aaliyah's family pursued legal action. They filed a wrongful death lawsuit against several parties, including Instinct Productions, the company that organized the video shoot and the transportation. They also filed claims against Blackhawk International Airways and Atlantic Flight Group, the broker involved in arranging the flight. The lawsuit cited negligence, pointing to failures in verifying the pilot's qualifications, ensuring the aircraft was properly inspected, and following basic safety procedures. By 2003, the family had reached out-of-court settlements with all parties involved. The families of the other victims on board filed their own lawsuits as well, raising similar concerns about accountability and safety failures. After the crash, memorials were held across the country. In New York and Detroit, thousands gathered to honor Aaliyah. Outside her former high school in Detroit, fans held a candlelight vigil. Artists who had worked with her shared their grief. Timbaland said losing Aaliyah felt like losing half his creativity. DMX called her one of the kindest, most genuine people he'd known. Even LeBron James later said her sudden passing had inspired him to push through a tough moment in his life, reminding him how unpredictable life can be. Aaliyah's legacy only grew. Her music continued to resonate, even though it wasn't available on streaming platforms for years due to a dispute with her uncle's label. That changed in 2021, when her albums were finally released online, bringing her sound to a new generation. Tributes followed. On her 40th birthday, her brother Rashad shared a heartfelt poem in her honor. In 2025, a Barbie doll modeled after her 1 in a million look sold out within minutes. More than 2 decades after her passing, Aaliyah remains a powerful influence on music, style, and culture. Aaliyah's legacy as an artist, style icon, and cultural figure remains firmly intact. Her sound helped reshape R&B and pop music in the late 90s, blending futuristic production with soft, haunting vocals. She brought elegance and strength to her performances without ever being flashy. She made bold music choices without chasing trends. And in a music industry often dominated by formula, she carved her own lane, quietly, confidently, and with lasting impact. But what do you think? Was this tragedy avoidable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if this story touched you, consider liking and subscribing for more.